Okay, today I want to talk a little bit about using PHDWin to do some simple tasks. So here, anyway, we have our PHDWin program open right here. It's an empty project yet, so we want to go ahead and file and open one of our existing projects. So here's the project. All right, so we have a blank screen until you set it up the first time. So what I like to do is I like to use three windows. So the first one is the case list right here. And when you press that, it comes up. So this window comes up. I like to put it in the right corner and make it about this big. You can make it bigger where you can see more wells if you want. Okay, that's the first window. That's how I like to do it. Okay, the second window is editor cases, and then it brings up another window that has information about the case right here. So like if you want to, about the Sun Gunner 1046, it's now here. You want to look at a new drill location here, that's one of the wells, it pops up here. All right, so what I like to do is you highlight that and move it. I like to put it on the bottom right, about that size, so I can see my well list and then some information about the active well. Now the third window I like is the graphs. So I like to go graphs, display. All right, so that puts a well, and I like to make it about this big, and so you can see what's going on. All right, so if you want to go look at one of these are sorted by producing, non-producing, and undeveloped. So if I want to see one of the producing wells, I just need to click here. Or you can be this active window and you press page down, it does that. That's not what I want. So click here and you press page down, and then it just moves from one well to the next. All right. So here we have some producing wells, and we have a list of them here. We call them case list, or well, a case or well. It could be a well or a lease. All right, so we have some sort orders and some filters. All right, so let's look and see how sort orders work. So you can have various ones that you save for different kind of sorts. But to understand what's in this sort order that's right here, you hit the A to Z button. And it's going to tell you how it's sorted. So it's sorted by reserve class and category. So you can see that's right here. Then by production, in production date. All right, so all these items you can sort by, you can put up to 10. So if you don't want these items, you can throw them in the garbage can. And you could save it under a different name. So you can like save copy. All right, so where do you get this information to sort by? It's over here on these side items. So they got all the different things you can sort by. So on the economics, you can go ahead and put what price model you have on your wells, and you can put what working interest you have, so you can check your working interest. All right, so let's save that. All right, so now it's going to show you what all price model you have all on your well. So you can check to make sure you got the right prices. You can check your ownership. See, your ownership's right here on the right. So you can look, see these wells have no ownership, so we need to check that. Why are they in there with no ownership? So it's easy. You can use sort orders to easily check your data. Now another thing, if you click in here, if you click on the windows of the graph, then these menus at the top pop up. So this is your ARPS button. That's to do your decline analysis. All right, so right now this is an oil decline. See right here, boom, boom, boom. And you can look down here, there's archives. Now archives you can set up for different declines. Like MPC would be the Mirror Engineering declines. But if you had another engineer called KMM, you could check that, click on that one, and it's going to show you what the KMM decline is. So you can have different engineers' declines on the wells. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Now, if you double click on the graph and press archives, you can click on what archives you want to show on the graph. So now you can see I got two. I got this engineer's decline. He's a little more optimistic versus the consulting company. It's this one. Okay, so that's a little bit about archives. All right, so using these sort orders is very powerful You can sort, like if you want to determine what county these wells are in, you can just pray A to Z to edit your sort order. Get rid of some of these other things and go to general information and put the county. So let's group it by, and you can group it and sum it. So when you run reports, if you want to add up the reserves by the county, you have to click the second arrow, green check mark. All right, and you can save as many of these sort orders as you want on the different names. All right, so look, we got everything is in Howard County, so that's really not helping us. This project is all in Howard County, so let's go ahead and we don't need that anymore. We want to know what field are these wells in. You could go ahead and put general information, drag in the field, and you can group it. All right, so now it's going to sort by the field name. So you got Luther Southeast, South Unit, and Sprayberry. And it tells you how many are in there. So there's 38 wells in the project, but 25 are in the Luther field. 1 is in the South Unit, and 11 are in the Sprayberry. All right, so now you see, so your sort order changes. Now, you can have as many of these as you want. You can have a working number 1, which is just a standard one. If you want to change it, you just press that A to Z. If you want to double check your working interest, and you want to sort them by low to high, decent, or high to low, or whatever, you can sort. So you can see it goes, these at the bottom, why they have 0 working interest. So, or is that just royalty wells? Okay, so these wells are have revenue interest only, no working interest. So you can, if you want to check that, you just hit the A to Z button, go to economics, go to revenue interest, and you can put that in there. You can see, so these have revenue but no working interest. If you want to check to see which ones have no working interest, you can, or just revenue interest only, you can sort it by that. Okay, so now you can sort, anyway, so you can sort it all different ways. So these sort orders are very powerful. Now, what about the filtering? Right now we have no filter, so we have all 38 cases in the project. So if you have a if you have some client wells, you can have a filter. So when you go to run the report, you're only going to run the report on your wells that are owned by the client. So you use the filter button. So you want to see what's in the filter. It says if evaluate contains Y. So what the heck does that mean? Well, under the ID code, I set up an evaluate and I put yes on these 12 wells. Now if I turn off so you can see this well doesn't have a yes. If you want to check that, you go to here and say, well, I want to check which wells I have as evaluate. So I might have made a mistake. So it shows you that these 12 wells have that evaluation code. And you can have as many many ID codes as you want. If you want to add one for, this is non-operated, or some other code. And then you can come in here and, say, well, these wells are non-operated, so you put yes. And then you can globally add these ID codes. So you use the global editor, and then you select. So if you know like these wells are non-operated and you want to flag them as non-operated, you put them in there and you go to miscellaneous. And then you go all the way to the bottom and you say set ID code. And then you pick non-operated and say yes. So it's very powerful when you're running reports or sorting and doing your project. You can have different code setup. So you can delete them. You can change it, save it again. All right. So let's make a new code for only non-operated wells. So you say add a filter, and you call it non-operated and then you have to tell it some criteria. So you go to here and say ID code, find non-operated, and you put yes. So we got 38 wells, but when you press, because when you're running reports or QCing your work, you can easily sort by these different things and do a check. If you want to know what oil price these wells have, that you have what current oil price you have on them, you can oil price model, you can put that up at the top, turn that green off. Now you can see that all these wells have a NYMEX schedule on them that you can check to make sure that's what you want. Anyway, that's using sort orders and filtering, and PHDWin is very powerful. It helps organize your project, helps you run reports on selected wells, and you can have the reports, summed up by county or operator, just any kind of which way you want. You can set them up in these sort orders. So when you go to run your reports, you want to have the certain sort order active. So you might have one for this. Anyway, that's how you do it. It's very